morning, good afternoon, good evening. Under this is Tanks and Tutties, presented by Tubbs and Frankie. This week, we're coming to you as winners. We both won a playoff game this week, as you all know. We will get to that later. But for now, weekend recap and locks and long shots. The boys are hot. Take it away, Frankie.
We are looking great. I specifically have started off on a 4-0 start. I've started 2-2 on long shots too, but we'll get into that in a second. My weekend, pretty fucking awesome. I know your weekend was also awesome. Friday. I don't think we really did anything Friday. We did break our dry January spell a little bit and just went out to, there's a golf bar here called Birdies. Just a real small bar. It's got like 2 or 3 simulators in the back. Pretty awesome, honestly. Went there with a couple of Paige's classmates, hit some balls and everything. Paige actually stuck to her dry January. I did not. I only had like 2 drinks or so, but you're golfing. You just got to get a couple drinks in. So we did that Friday. Came home. Saturday, what did we do Saturday? Saturday we went out. Paige wanted to look at some shoes, so we went and looked for some shoes. Came back, watched some football Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. And then Sunday was just the best day of the weekend. Woke up and did some cleaning around the apartment, and I said, all right, like 2:30, 3 o'clock, I got to be done. I got to sit down on this couch. I got to get all my bets in. I'm not getting off this couch. My eyes are not leaving that TV for the next 3 hours or so until this game is done, unless it was a complete shit show, which it ended up not being. Had the Packer jersey on. Granted, it was Devontae Adams because I don't have my Jordan Love jersey yet. Had the Packer beanie, all Packered out. And I think for about 3 plays I was nervous. And then I just sat there and enjoyed the ride. That game finished. And then I watched the Lions game. Not going to lie. Nice to see the Lions get a win. That's the last time you'll ever hear me say anything good about the Lions for the rest of the year. You guys got your win. You're the enemy now for the rest of the year, for the rest of forever. So fuck the Lions. Sunday was great. We ended up getting snow on Sunday, which is kind of fitting because the entire country got cold. It was like Green Bay just swept the entire country, We did. And then we're actually under a state of emergency because we got 3 inches of snow and Tennessee doesn't know how to operate with snow. They actually do not own plows in Memphis. They do not own salt trucks. So the roads are still completely covered in snow that we got on Sunday. We got a emergency alert today telling us not to use large appliances because they don't want the grid to shut down. So that'll be interesting to see. But Monday yesterday didn't have to work because of Martin Luther King Day, so I pretty much sat and bet on sports and watched football again yesterday. So it was a great weekend. I am so excited for next weekend. I cannot wait to talk about football. I think this might be one of our best episodes yet. So we'll see. But how was your weekend?
I had a great weekend. Similar to you, my team got a win. I'm jumping ahead, though. Friday, more just a chill night. Sid came over. Netflix has this trivia on it that I didn't know about, and I became fully addicted to that because it tracks your score, and, you got to try to beat it. And Sid told me what her family's high score was, so I kept trying to beat it, never could.
Wait, which trivia? I might have to test it out.
It's, I can pull it up. I'll load it, and then I'll tell you. But then we watched, you ever watched Temptation Island?
I don't think we've watched that one, no.
It is, I love it. It is so funny. It's a reality show, and basically couples come on there. There's 4 couples. They split them up, guys and girls, and then they bring in a bunch of single folks, and that's the temptation is don't cheat. So it's these couples that never would have worked out anyways because it's always we've been dating for 4 years and he hasn't proposed, and then they end up cheating. And this last one was really good. This guy got cheated on. Not cheated on, actually, because he kind of did first. He got, twerked on, and then she met this guy who was great, and he kissed her, and she was like, I've never been kissed like that before. And then they always do a final bonfire where they kind of meet up and kind of catch up. And this dude ended up proposing. And she was like, no, I'm done. So
Dude,
just some
there's
amazing drama.
There's a show kind of like that called The Ultimatum. It's a little bit more serious. Have you watched that one yet?
I have not.
So basically, it's like these couples that come on, and one of the two people gives the other the ultimatum. Either they want to get married or they're going to break up. And it's like these couples, kind of the same thing where they've been together for so long. And then what they do is they bring all these couples together, and then they basically have to girlfriend, boyfriend swap for a couple weeks and like live together and everything. And then come back, and their choice is either they get married to the person they were with or they start a new relationship with the person they met. It's crazy.
That's wild. That's wild.
Also, another good show you should watch is called Fool Me Once on Netflix. It's one season, 8 episodes. Awesome. We just watched it this weekend.
Fool Me Once. Let me add it to the list here.
It's like
she looks familiar. What show was she in?
I have no idea. It's like they're all like British. But it's like a murder gone girl type of thing.
She was in Last Man Standing with Tim Allen.
Oh, didn't watch it.
The trivia, by the way, is called Trivia Verse. My high score is 3,500.
Ooh.
So, anyway, so that was Friday, just some Netflix. And then Saturday, woke up. Sid made me breakfast. She agreed that if I bought all the ingredients, she would cook me some breakfast. So we had bacon, hash browns, and eggs. While
Dude,
she made that while I was nice. She made that while I was shoveling because we got a little storm too. It was supposed to be way worse than it was. I think we were supposed to get like 11 to 12 inches, and it only ended up being like 5. So then Sid took off. She had some stuff to do during the day. I ended up having to do some work. I work as an accountant for a construction company, so the beginning of the year always sucks because it's kind of catching up year-end stuff to make our financials look beautiful. So I've worked the last 2 weekends at home. I will be working again this weekend, and then I should be caught up and done. So a lot more gaming for me here in the future. But Sid's going to California this weekend, so I'll have plenty of time to get my work done. I'll probably still game. It'll be great. Then I ended up going back to Sid's, her parents' house. We had dinner. She made pizza and then a little salad. And then I got her this book for Christmas. I don't know if I said it on the show yet, but basically it's a bunch of dates because we suck at picking dates. None of us can either come up with a date, so you just scratch it and it tells you what to do. So this one was make cookies, but one person is blindfolded and the other person like controls their body.
Oh, boy.
So I was the one that was blindfolded because I don't really know how to bake or cook or anything, and Sid had to control me. Everything went well. Cracking an egg blindfolded was scary, but once she lined it up and I felt the bowl, like the cracks were real good. The problem was the mixing because she had me pour in I don't even know what went into it, but I poured in like the chocolate chips, the everything without seeing. So it was real thick, and this mixer, man, it was like, first of all, it was hurting my arm because it took forever, and then shit went everywhere. It was hilarious. So that was fun. The cookies turned out good. My family fucking destroyed them when I went over there on Sunday for the game. Good segue. Sunday, woke up, Sid made breakfast again, and then I think I just hung out at home. I did some laundry and maybe some more work Sunday morning / afternoon. Watched a little bit of the Packer game, and then I ended up going to my parents'. They got wings for the Lions game. Honestly, I didn't watch much of the Packers-Cowboys game because the first half I watched the first quarter, I think, and then I showered and got dressed and kind of packed up my stuff to go to my parents'. And then by the time I got there, the game was already a blowout, so I wasn't really paying attention. But Lions game, obviously, great fucking game. Loved it. We won. First time I've ever seen a playoff win. This is the first Lions playoff game I've really cared about too, because their last one was 2016. Junior in high school, I just, for whatever reason, wasn't really into football yet. I don't know what clicked to make me live and die by how the Lions do, but something changed, obviously, because 2016 I didn't really care. So that was awesome. We'll get more into that later. But Monday I did have to work because some companies are just all about grit and determination, and that's what I had. So, jealous of everybody that had the day off, but I had to work. Still, locks and long shots now. Reminder, probably the last time I'll remind, is that we reset our stats. So on the locks, I'm looking good, 2-1. Suffered my first loss last week. I had 2 locks, Chiefs minus 4.5. They crushed the Dolphins. I did have the over 44. It was looking okay for a while, and then it kind of didn't. So they ended up losing. This week I've got 2 again. I want to be 4-1 heading into the conference championship, so I can just do 1 per game there. We're taking the Texans +9 against the Ravens on the road. Not a great pick, but with how the Texans looked last week in that offense, you know what? I'm flipping. Ravens -9. Rest versus rust. They're going to be rested. And I remembered, I was just about to stroke C.J. Stroud's ego, but he can't play in cold weather, and it's going to be cold in Baltimore. They're outdoors.
That's
C.J.
true.
Stroud, when he came to Ann Arbor, cold, didn't play well. Maybe I think that one was at Ohio State. C.J. Stroud's an indoor quarterback. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to get into it later. He's going to be great. He's going to be the next fucking Peyton Manning of the AFC. Like, he's going to be great. But not in the cold weather. We're taking the Ravens -9. Their defense is great, too. I did like the Texans +9 just because there was so many points and their offense looked awesome. Their defense, though, isn't good. I'm not going to get tricked by last week. Flacco fed them 14 points. So that game was technically 31-14, which is a little bit closer. Therefore, the Ravens are going to win by 9. I am taking the over in this one. I think the Ravens will put up 28 points, and I think Stroud can put up the 20. Oh, if we're only going to get 28, maybe I'm going to reflip. Nope. Ravens will put up
Jake
31.
is so crossed up on this game.
Ravens are going to put up 31. Texans will put up 14. Over 44. That's what we're going with. Over 44 and Texans-Ravens as the other lock. I hate
like
both of
me
those.
Doing my math for the national championship, because when you asked me for the score, I was like, what'll get me the over, but what'll also get me the spread?
Exactly.
All right.
Yep. So don't take either of those. I hate them both, but they're locked in. I don't give a fuck. Long shots, 1-1. We hit last week. Gibbs and Montgomery, anytime touchdown parlay. No sweat at all. I believe they scored. Well, Montgomery scored the first touchdown of the game, and then I think the Rams scored, and then Gibbs scored to
Kicked the
take the
field
lead
goal
back. So, that's right. So, yeah, first 2 touchdowns of the game. No sweat there at all. I'm going to ride the hot hand. I've been pretty okay with my touchdown scores lately. I almost hit a 6-leg for every single playoff game last weekend. Fuck DeAndre Swift. He cost that one. So this week, we're just going to straight bet him. Nico Collins, anytime touchdown, +150. He did score last week, but he is their only weapon that I think could score against the Ravens. I don't see Schultz doing it. I definitely don't see Noah Brown. Who's their other receiver? The Bama guy that had cancer.
Mechie?
Yeah, I don't see him scoring, so I'm just going
What
to take
about Singletary
Collins.
or Pierce?
Singletary might get in on a Collins tackled at the 1. That's the only thing. So, and then we're also going to take Diggs because I don't think Diggs has scored in so long, and he's +145, and this is just a strictly like this game's going to be fun. I think there will be a lot of points, so Diggs will score. Let's see. Did Diggs score? He didn't score on Monday.
No,
right?
I'm actually looking right now to see when the last time he scored was.
It's been a long time, I think, unless he scored their last. Oh, did he score against the Dolphins? I think he scored against the Dolphins, actually.
No, he hasn't scored since the week of Thanksgiving against the Eagles.
There you go. So he's fucking due.
He's only got 4 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, only +145 is crazy, but he is their number 1 weapon. So I'm taking Diggs, though. If anything misses, I think it's that. I think Collins for sure scores. The Ravens' defense is good, but their pass defense isn't as good as their rush defense. So Diggs and Collins +150, +145.
I think the crazier thing about Diggs is he's only had 2 over 100 yards receiving games this year, and they were both the first 2 games of the season.
Yeah, he's had a mid-year.
Yeah.
Your locks and long shots.
All right. My locks, like I said earlier, I am 4-0. We are hot. Still open Harbaugh to the NFL as a lock. Jake told me I needed to put that as a lock. We talked about it a little before. You said that the Chargers are -130.
The Chargers are -125. However, before Harbaugh interviewed, Harbaugh to not coach in the NFL was -300. But after the interview now, all of a sudden he's -125. So
Interesting. Anyways, last week I had the Packers +7.5. They won outright. You know it. And then Josh Allen, anytime touchdown. Great call by us, honestly. That one, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was easy. Got that
Second quarter cash.
This week, I just have to. Packers +10 against the Niners in the divisional. I hate that I'm riding on my heart once again, but it's been working, and 10 points is a lot for a divisional game, especially with a team that just beat the number 2 seed handily and put up 48 points.
Hottest team in football.
Exactly. Rest versus rust. So I'm taking the Packers +10. I'm also going to take Brock Purdy to throw a pick. I think this is another rest versus rust kind of thing. The Packers defense kind of looked good last week, unfortunately. And Brock Purdy had a not so great game the last time he played. So really he hasn't played in what, 2.5, 3 weeks now.
When they kick on Saturday, it'll be 3 weeks since some of their starters have played.
Yeah, so all it takes is one. I mean, that's all we need from Brock Purdy. So I'm banking on that one. Really hoping we get something there. I'd love to start 6-0. That would be fantastic. We'll see. Long shots, 2-2. Still have Tennessee to win the SEC Open. Crazy weekend for that bet, honestly. I've come to the conclusion I don't like betting on Tennessee in basketball because they're good, but their spreads are like crazy high and stuff. They played Georgia on Saturday in Georgia. Georgia's 2-0. Well, they were 2-0 in conference, had just played some bigger games, won both of them. Tennessee was down 6 with like 4 minutes left. And they ended up coming back and winning 85-79. Almost covered the spread. I live bet them straight money line, down 6 at like +350. That cash. It was awesome. They're playing Florida right now, actually. They're up 36-22 in the first. Looking good. Tennessee's not that great. But tied for second in the SEC. Bama and Auburn are ahead of them. Auburn looks like a fucking wagon right now, and they play Bama on Saturday. Yep. So that's going to be interesting. Last week I had Aaron Jones touchdown. Should have fucking taken 2+, 3+ because of the recency and what he does to the Dallas Cowboys. He scored 3 times, so cash that one. This week I actually placed this over the weekend. I'm adding another basketball future. Wisconsin to win the Big Ten in basketball. Wisconsin looks very, very dangerous right now. Purdue, as we know, is overrated. And when it comes to the conference tournament, it doesn't matter where you are ranked, what you are, or how you've been playing. It just matters how you do in the conference tournament. So I like the team that might come in as the 2-3 seed in the tournament, whatever, to end up winning this thing. I mean, if Purdue gets knocked off, it looks good for us. We just got to keep playing the way that they are. They look dangerous. They played phenomenal against Northwestern the other day. Northwestern's actually a pretty decent basketball team. So played some big games this year. I know we took down Marquette head-to-head. I don't know. I'm excited for this team. So we'll add that one. I'm also going to add Jordan Love under a half an interception. Jordan Love has looked phenomenal for the last 10 games, and the last time that he threw an interception was against the Giants. The last interception he threw was against Giants 6 weeks ago.
That's a bad team to throw
5 weeks ago. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. We lost that game. So I don't know, plus odds for a guy that's only thrown 1 pick in the last 10 weeks. I get you're going up against one of the best defenses, but we were also going up against one of the best defenses last week too. So just got to keep riding it.
Yeah, that's a good spot there. Plus 124 is kind of crazy. All we have to talk today is football, NFL. So we're going to start with the wild card round recap. We'll start with our picks. I went 5-1, only missed the Cowboys, and you went 5-1. You only missed the Browns. So pretty good week for us. I am pissed. I parlayed all my picks, and obviously it missed because I took the Cowboys. And then I also had that 6-leg touchdown score that lost Monday night in the Eagles game. So frustrating weekend for my long shots that I personally bet, but good picks there, 5-1. We'll keep it going. For our predictions, I've got Niners Bills, you've got Niners Ravens, so we're still good there. They're both alive. We'll have to check next week how our teams do. The Bills have the Chiefs, and the Ravens play the Texans. So
neither of my
I think
teams
the Ravens
played,
win
so
that
we're
easily.
good.
So for the recap, let's go in order of when the game was played. I feel like that's the easiest way to do it. So we'll start with Browns and Texans. A lot of the games were blowouts, which kind of sucked, man. Like I wanted some. The only game that I wanted to be a blowout, my game, I wanted the Lions to blow them out, was the best game in terms of closeness. And it's like, come on, man. So
Well, we saw backup
CJ
quarterbacks in, what, 2 games? I think only 2 games.
backup quarterbacks came in 2 out of 6. That's 33% of playoff games saw a backup quarterback. That's fucked. So we'll start here. Texans win 45-14. Stroud, youngest QB to ever win a playoff game. Good stats too. He had him and Jordan Love almost had identical stats.
That was crazy.
I think Jordan Love had did Jordan Love have 4 more yards or 4 less?
No, I have it up right now. So CJ Stroud went 16 for 21. Actually, they both went 16 for 21. Jordan Love had 272 yards. CJ Stroud had 274 yards. They both had 3 touchdowns and no picks. They both had a 157.2 passer rating, and they both got a dub.
See, you know what I saw, though, too? That makes no sense at all. So, first of all, 4 yards difference, that's crazy.
2 yards.
The thing that I saw was that Jordan Love set a record for having a perfect passer rating in the playoffs.
So,
but
yeah,
that rating was different than that graphic that you were reading from. And Stroud had identical stats but didn't have a perfect passer rating. Like, passer rating is the dumbest fucking stat.
No, okay, so I can explain it to you. It was the QBR that he set the record for. QBR takes into effect, like, the defense that you're playing as well. So Jordan Love's was higher because I think technically, statistically, the Cowboys' defense was technically better or something. I don't know exactly.
It must take into account home and away, too.
I was going to say,
the
it might
Browns'
take into
defense
home
was
effect.
right there.
Yep.
But the Browns' defense on the road was not good. So
Yes.
This game was fun to start with. The first half was back and forth. Flacco looked good. Stroud looked incredible. And then the second half, Joe Flacco looked like he needed to be put in a ward. He threw 2 pick sixes on back-to-back drives. And then the Texans kind of just went into cruise mode. Not much to say here for me other than Stroud's legit and Carolina should be kicking themselves.
Yeah. I had the over in this game. This was the easiest bet of the entire weekend. I will say, so I watched the first quarter and a half and then got busy shopping and stuff. Didn't really get the chance to see much. And it was like I left and then I came back and it was after halftime. And I was just like, what the hell happened? Mm-hmm. And then I looked at the box score and I was like, damn, 2 pick sixes. And then I was like, holy shit, that was back-to-back drives. Like,
yep.
Flacco really just fell apart, which is so sad because he was on such a run. And
he was such a fun story.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the Browns do next year. Lot of decisions to be made there.
I think it'll be Watson.
Yeah, but
they spent way too much money to not use him.
Yeah,
Nobody's
but
do you think
Flacco ends up somewhere?
I think as a backup for sure, and then traded when a team loses their quarterback, or nobody picks him up, and the second a quarterback goes down, he gets called up.
Yeah, and then the question is,
he could have a job till he's 50.
Do you think he still will be able to do what he did this year next year, or is he just going to fall off a cliff? Like, was this just a one-time spark?
I don't think he'll be as good next year as he was this year. I think it was a fluke. And it also is a testament to how good the Browns defense is. But it's also not because Flacco threw for like 300 yards in every fucking game. Like,
yeah, he still
I kept saying I was waiting for him to fall off, and he never did. So I don't know. He could be the same Flacco next year. It was fucking
Thoughts?
fun.
How far do we? We'll wait on that. Keep going.
Okay. I got nothing else for that game. Do you?
No, this team would be so much better if Tank Dell wasn't injured.
Oh yeah. I'd be hammering.
This
the
team is
Texans
going to be
+9 probably.
so much fun next year.
I do have one thought: is that Texans completed the best rebuild of all time. They were bad for 2 years with Davis Mills. Got the second overall pick, took C.J. Stroud, traded up, got Will Anderson, who was a Defensive Rookie of the Year candidate. I don't think he's going to get it, but he's had a great fucking year. And they got a great coach. They went 10-7, won a playoff game, and
DeMeco Ryan should be Coach of the Year.
No, it's going to be – that's the thing with the Coach of the Year is, like, do they stop watching come playoff time? Because I think when they closed it, Stefanski, the Browns coach, was the favorite. And then it was Campbell at, like, plus 200. And then Ryans was, like, plus 450. But for me, my Coach of the Year, obviously so much bias, but Dan Campbell broke a 32-year playoff curse. So I think he's the Coach of the Year. But DeMeco Ryans is above Stefanski for me. I think if there was a coordinator of the year, it'd be Jim Schwartz, though, because the Browns.
It's just
defense
crazy
was
that
great.
the Texans went from a 3-win team to this.
Didn't they only win 2 last year?
I thought it was 3. It might have been 2.
Either way, yeah. And how spot on you were. You fucking, I think week 7 or 8, you were like, hot take, they're gonna make the playoffs, and I was like,
Oh,
no
it
fucking
was
way.
well. It was earlier that I said this team was going to be above 500 or like 500 or above team, and then
they won another game, and you were like, yeah, they're gonna make the playoffs. I was like,
Yep.
no fucking shot.
I mean this.
All right.
The division is the Texans to lose now. I would say going into next year. Like we all thought this was going to be the
Yeah.
Jags division for years, and Trevor Lawrence was going to run this division. And now I'm
Well,
looking at it
honestly, it's not their division to lose, but they should be heavy favorites. But if Richardson comes back and can stay healthy, the Colts were very good this year too.
that's another crazy thing. Like that division's going to be insane. Like
That
from one of the
division-
worst divisions now
Exactly.
loaded.
It went from the worst in the AFC to now, I would argue it's the second best.
Well, I mean, if Will Levis does
Maybe
anything,
third. Yeah, they got a lot of problems though. They just got rid of their coach. They got no defense there.
yeah.
Their running backs leaving, so I think the Titans will be bad for a couple of years. Next game, Chiefs and Dolphins. I have a funny story for this one. I didn't watch a second of it. It was on Peacock, and I was at Sid's parents' house, and they had Peacock, but it was logged into somebody's ex-boyfriend's. And when I went in to watch the game, it said, oh, too many screens. So I was like, fuck. And then I was like, oh, I have Peacock. But then I was like, I'm canceling it as soon as the season's over. I'll have no use for it. And that person paid for the year. So I was like, I'll leave it on there so you guys keep your Peacock. And I was like, fuck. So I just didn't watch it. I mean, I could have watched it on my phone, but I think we ended up, what did we end up watching? Oh, we watched House Hunters all night on Saturday. I love that show. So anyways, it doesn't look like I missed much. I loved all the cold tweets that I saw, though. Beers were freezing. As soon as you took a water out of the... First of all, why are you buying a water at -30? You shouldn't even want it. But they were freezing as soon as they came out of the cooler. My biggest takeaway was that Rashee Rice was a great pickup, and Pacheco scored, and that's all that matters for me.
Yeah, honestly, I watched most of this game. Paige actually went to the movies with one of her friends, so I was just at home watching this game. And it just wasn't that fun. Like, I don't know if the weather just killed it or what.
I think anytime you're playing in that temperature, no matter what, if you're used to it or not, it's going to slow you down, and that's why that game slowed down.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the whole Rashee Rice game was awesome. Like, that was probably the best part of the game. I don't know. I just, like, the Dolphins looked boring, and, like, I wanted to see Devon Achane do something. He only got, like, 6 carries. Like, they barely ran the ball. They barely ran any plays. Tua wasn't that good. Tyreek didn't do much. Like, I don't know. It just
who scored for the Dolphins? Was it Tyreek?
Yeah, Tyreek scored.
Yeah, 53-yarder.
I don't know. It wasn't fun.
I had one take on this one. I don't remember what it was. Oh,
Huge flop for
I
the
can
Dolphins?
solve all of. Huh?
Huge flop for the Dolphins.
Well, that's a take. But also, they were another one of those teams that limped into the playoffs, you know?
Yeah.
They pretty much had the AFC East wrapped up, and they had a couple bad losses and then couldn't beat the Bills. Man, I'm saying a lot, huh?
So.
What was my take? Fuck. Oh, I know how to solve that they can't play in cold weather. They're in Miami, obviously. It's warm all the time. They're not used to the cold. Take a fucking field trip to Green Bay right before the playoffs. Go to some local fucking high school and run your practice. Don't let anybody wear sleeves. And you're fucking good to go. They'll be used to it, and they'll get their bad stuff out, so that way when they travel to a cold spot, they'll be good. And if they don't travel to a cold place for their first playoff game, then guess what? You got tougher. That's how you solve it. Or invent some sort of fucking massive cold wind blower and just run that in practice.
Yeah,
Pump
like
the air up to fucking 30 degrees.
Like just get an indoor dome and just freeze it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, just however you want to do that. The opposite of a heater, get that. I think that's just a fan. Lots and lots of fans.
Wind tunnel.
Yeah, there you go. All right, the moment you've been waiting for. Packers-Cowboys. This game was a lot more out of reach than it appears if you didn't see a single thing about it. The Packers put up 48 on one of the best defenses in the NFL, so that's impressive. The Cowboys scored 32, but this game was over about halfway through the second quarter when it was 27-0. Dak ended up throwing for 403 yards and 3 touchdowns. Once again, he had 0 yards in the first quarter passing, literally 0, not an exaggeration. Going into the half, I think he only had 50. And yeah, like you said earlier, Aaron Jones just popped off. So I'm going to let you go, and I will chime in maybe, but this is you.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I was nervous for the first, I think, 3 plays. The first 3 plays were quite possibly the worst plays I've ever seen come out of this team, which is surprising to say. I don't know, something just looked weird, but got the penalty, got the first down, and then it just seemed like the floodgates just open. Jordan Love had all the time he needed in the pocket. He was manipulating the pocket and just buying himself time to find any wide receiver that he could wide open. I think the craziest stat about this game was that our you could say top 2 receivers, Christian Watson and Jaden Reed, combined for 1 catch for 9 yards, and we still put up 48 points. So I'm honestly coming to the conclusion that I kind of don't like having that stud receiver to a point. Like, obviously, yes, there's times for it, but then there's games like this where the defense can't necessarily key in on a single person. And looking at our wide receivers, they're all very interchangeable. Like, they kind of all have the same skill set. You can just throw 3 random ones out there and they're not going to know who to pick, but they're all going to do the exact same thing. And Jordan Love, is going to find one of them. And I don't know if it was bad defense on the Cowboys or our offense was just humming. I would like to hope that it was just humming. But, I mean, this game was phenomenal. By the time it got to the fourth quarter, I literally just sat back and couldn't do anything but laugh when we scored, because I was like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Going from a team that we thought had 0 chance of making it to the playoffs to now just absolutely destroying the Cowboys. I don't know. This has been so fun. I do want to say, I know what you're going to say. I think I know what you're probably going to throw out there. I know Joe Barry still needs to be fired. Dak threw for 400 yards. Cowboys, I have a tweet actually up. Cowboys averaged 4.9 yards per play, quite a bit. CD still went for 110. Gallup went for 103. The defense wasn't that great. Granted, we did give up some of these points in garbage time with backups in. I don't know. I really hope Joe Barry's not back.
So, my thoughts on this game, and I've let you know this, Joe Barry, you cannot say, oh, Dak threw for 400. He threw for like 350 when it didn't matter. The defense absolutely shut down that offense.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a fluke where it was like Dak was bad. The defense was making fucking plays. They got pressure every fucking play, it felt like. Pollard had no room. CeeDee was clamped up. Every receiver just had no room. And Jair with a great pick. That Jair pick was the turning point. That's when it was like, this game's going to be weird.
Yeah.
And,
having Jair back was such a boost, too.
Yep. So I got the play-by-play up here, or actually the GameCast. Sorry. So it was 27-0 with 150 left in the second quarter. The Cowboys drove down 55 yards in a minute 50 to make it 27-7.5.
Not a great
look. The Cowboys were getting the ball, huh?
Not a great look for the defense. Just want to throw
That's
that
true.
out there.
But those 2-minute drives are always weird and tough. But come out in the third quarter, the Cowboys drive down, and they got a field goal out of it. So the defense stood up and got a stop. And then after that, it was just, hey, we got this Aaron Jones guy. He's doing pretty good. They just kept feeding him. And then the Cowboys scored again. But 48-16 with 10 minutes left in the fourth, that is defensive dominance. Dominance. So I obviously am giving you shit when I say Joe Barry's going to come back. I strongly believe he will come back just because of how good that the Packers defense has looked in the last three. I think if you guys beat the 49ers this week and the defense looks good and it's not just Jordan Love cooking, Joe Barry's a lock to come back 2024.
I didn't even mention my favorite play of the entire game, the Musgrave touchdown.
Wide open.
How does a guy that size get that wide open?
That slow. Yeah.
Like,
crazy.
I don't think he had a guy within 20 yards of him. And it was just an easy floater, right? Like, he literally stopped in his tracks, turned around, caught it, turned back around, and still wasn't touched for 10 more yards.
When Jordan Love threw that ball, I was like, oh, miscommunication with the receiver. And then all of a sudden, Musgrave popped up, and it was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yep. Real question for you. Where, out of the quarterbacks in the league currently, right at this moment, where would you rate Jordan Love?
Ooh, that's a good question. I just watched the Musgrave touchdown again. Nobody was within 15 yards. The safety was over the top.
Go on Twitter and watch the video I just sent you in your DMs, by the way, before you answer this question.
Okay, hang on. I should be able to load it pretty quick. We can keep the listeners here.
It was the touchdown throw to one of the touchdown throws to Dobbs.
I think I already saw this. Yeah,
just look at the body.
Back foot. Let me throw it through three defenders and just not miss. Oh, it just played on the ESPN too. So currently, I'm going to try to go no bias here. So I'm taking Jared Goff out of the equation because obviously he's my guy. I'm putting him over Jordan Love. Is that exactly true? I don't know. I can't be unbiased. So I'm taking him out completely. He doesn't count. I'm going Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson, Burrow when healthy. Am I allowed to say that or no?
Yeah, that's fine.
Burrow when healthy. I'm going to say Kirk Cousins when healthy too, not playing in primetime.
Ooh, okay.
And then I feel like I'm missing some big ones here. I got to go out west. So you got nobody there. I am going to put Stroud over him. Okay. And then Rodgers, obviously. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Stafford's borderline maybe. He looked really good. So I'm going to say Stafford. And then I'll say he's top 10. I'll give you that.
Okay. I will take that.
He's over Tua, in my opinion. He's over Jalen Hurts, which is a huge statement because of the MVP talk that we had earlier in the year.
Yeah.
See, I'll give you top 10. But honestly, in my opinion, I think Goff is top 10 too, but it's impossible to take the bias out of that. So that's why I took him out. I don't think I missed anyone major, right?
No, I don't think so.
I think I hit all the big boys. Cousins. Rodgers, if he, you can take him out too because he didn't play this year. If you're taking out the people that didn't play this year, he's top 7. Because Burrow, Rodgers, and then Stafford missed some games.
I guess Purdy. Where would you throw Purdy on there?
I'm a big time Brock Purdy hater. He's top 15. He's definitely in the top half, but Jordan Love's better.
Okay.
It makes me sick to my fucking stomach because you went from fucking Brett Favre, Hall of Fame quarterback, only won one Super Bowl though, to Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame quarterback, only won one Super Bowl though. And now you got Jordan Love, who in his first year took a team that's supposed to be rebuilding, had a shit offensive line, bad defense for a lot of years.
Speaking of the offensive line, looked phenomenal.
Yeah, they fucking shut down Micah Parsons. Like, how is that possible? It's disgusting. And now you got this guy who's probably going to fucking haunt me because you guys were supposed to have to go through what I did where you can't find a quarterback for 2 or 3 years and you got all these studs and you just can't get them involved because you don't have a quarterback. It's fucking stupid.
I loved just going on TikTok and Twitter this week and like the past couple of days and just seeing all the videos of Bears fans and Cowboys fans just absolutely distraught over that game. Like there was so many Bears fans videos on my feed of just being so incredibly pissed off and like, I can't fucking believe they did it again. It's so nice.
That's kind of where I'm at because, first of all, I was hopeful at the start of the year because Love didn't look good. He had a couple bad games. And then throughout the year, he had some bad games. But these last, 9 or 10 or whatever the fuck, he's been awesome. And it was like if your defense wasn't bad for some of those games, like the Giants game and what was the other one? The first Lions game. So you guys could have been fucking threatening the division. So
Jordan Love has the chance to do quite possibly the funniest thing this week. Brett Favre, great quarterback, could never beat the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers, great quarterback, could never beat the 49ers.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, Jordan Love has the opportunity to do both in one season.
It's like we were talking about, where is it a Packers going to the West Coast problem, or was it an Aaron Rodgers playing in his hometown problem? Because it's been noted that in recent years, you guys cannot beat the 49ers. So I don't know how to feel about that game or where my rooting interest will be. Obviously, I'm going to be focused on the Lions game on Sunday, but I'm pretty confident in beating the Bucs, as I should be. But it's like, do I want to face the best team in the NFC, or do I want to face the team that just beat us on Thanksgiving when I thought we were unbeatable? I think you have to hope it's the Packers because then it's another home game. That's obviously an advantage over going to San Francisco. But I'm not scared of Love, but I'm not excited to go play him.
I'm glad you're looking ahead. Who would you like to play in the Super Bowl if you were to get there?
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I'm not doing that. I'm only looking past the Bucs. I'm not going to look past the Packers.
Well, I'm glad to know you're looking past them. We're focused one game at a time. We play the Niners this week, so that's all that matters.
Honestly, if you were playing the Bucs, you would probably be in the same spot as me. You'd be the Bucs.
Nope.
No, man, because remember earlier in the year I gave the Bucs credit, and then they just were shit, and we dominated them when we played them in Tampa. Now we're at home. I'm confident. That's a good segue. You got anything else about the Pack or no?
No.
All right. So the next game, Rams and Lions, the best game of the weekend. Obviously, a lot of storylines here. Stafford returning, Jared Goff revenge game, Josh Reynolds revenge game that came out of nowhere. Obviously, Lions won 24-23. Funny, I didn't notice this. The Rams led every single category, passing, rushing, and receiving. Well, I think the Lions had more rushing yards between the two, but single rusher, Kyron Williams had the most yards. The Rams looked fucking good, and I gave them their credit, but this fucking game had me doing fucking circles. I didn't know what the fuck to think because the first half, our offense looked unfucking stoppable. I think we punted one time, and then everything else was a touchdown. But then our defense looked like the fucking basic fucking Lions defense that sucks. Couldn't stop Stafford. There was 2 wide open touchdowns, but their red zone trip, we held them to a field goal. But going into the half, the Rams never punted once. So then the second half, when it was like, wow, we just got to outscore them to win, I kept tweeting like, oh, if we score more touchdowns, we're going to win. Our defense came out and just shut them the fuck down. We only gave up 6 points in the second half. We only scored 3, but that's all that we needed. This was an awesome defensive battle that second half, and I was over the fucking moon when they won the game. it was hilarious because when they threw that, so second down, Rams got one timeout left. Me and my dad are both like, just run the ball, be smart, run out the clock. I was like, don't even let Stafford touch the ball. And then when they dropped back to pass, I think we both kind of said, God damn it, run the ball. Threw it to Amon-Ra, got the first down. My dad starts screaming, it's over, they did it, it's over. And I'm like, no, they have a timeout. And he goes, no, look at the clock, it's over. So I'm trying to do the math as fast as I can, but I'm so like, I was out of it. And
yeah, I saw that tweet
like,
and I started dying. I can't do the math. Is it over?
Yeah. So finally it hit. Like somebody said it out loud. 40, 80, 120. That's 2 minutes. It's over. And then it was celebration. So my celebration was delayed by about a minute. Man, Goff looked good. Let's see these stats.
Clock management by the Rams was poor in the last few minutes there.
Yep. And the refs were letting them play, I'll tell you that. Both sides. Because I was complaining about a lot of calls.
I was going to say, that Lions definitely went both ways.
I think the Lions got the benefit. If you were to pick one team that benefited the most, I think it was the Lions, which I love. I don't care. But it's like you said with the videos with the Bear fans. I've got Rams fans, which I didn't even know they existed, all over my Twitter for some reason. And they're tweeting out like videos of dirty hits in quotes. So the one on Higbee, his knee, by the way, nasty injury. Nasty. But that's how the NFL wants you to tackle. You can't go high. It's a tight end, so you're not going to try to wrap him up. So you go for their legs. It's just unfortunate that he was planning and got his knee bent in upside down. So that was one. There was another one where Puka was getting wrapped up, but he was breaking loose. So the Lions were flying to the ball, and they kind of lowered their head. But, yeah, so just Rams fans can't take a loss well, and they're saying that Lions fans aren't taking the win well. I haven't seen any Lions fans saying more than, holy fuck, it's over. Have you? Is anybody, talking shit?
No, I don't think I've really seen anything of that. I mean,
it
makes
like
sense
our
that
group
Rams
chats?
fans are that way, though, because, I mean, they're Cali people. So
That's true.
Not to call them soft or anything, but
I wonder how much different our group chats would have been had the Packers lost.
honestly, if we would have lost, I probably wouldn't have been that upset.
Right.
But I think the shit talking would have been so much more coming from Lions fans. Like, say the Lions won and the Packers lost.
Yeah.
Which makes me, I wanted to bring this up. You should be saying thank you to us for the ball don't lie.
It's the greatest of all time. Greatest of all time.
I mean, the Kings of the North has to come into question a little bit, I think. Just want to throw that out there.
Like we agreed last week, if the Packers win the Super Bowl this year, they're the Kings of the North this year. If not, they got to win it next year. I will say that it's feasible that next year the Packers run away with it because it's fucking ridiculous that guy's good. But we're talking about my team right now. We're talking about my team. Amon-Ra, great game, 7 catches, 100 yards. But man, dude, Stafford, 367 yards, 2 touchdowns, 181 yards for Puka. He's going to be the next great. Cooper Kupp's going to retire within 2 years. You heard it here first. I'm trying to remember this game. By the way, that Gibbs-Montgomery parlay cashed in the first quarter. I forgot about that.
Yes.
So, yeah, Lions didn't cover the spread. Didn't matter. I didn't bet it. The only thing I did have was I took the over in the Packers-Cowboys game that hit easily, obviously, and then I parlayed that with the Lions-Rams over. And first half, I'm chilling. I was like, 38 points. I only need 2 more touchdowns. And then they proceeded to put up 9 points in the second half. So
yeah, that was
ended up
frustrating.
not hitting.
I will say, go ahead.
For me, I didn't give a fuck, clearly, because my team won. But I do have a gripe. Actually, you go ahead, and then I'll get into my gripe.
Well, I was just going to say that I kind of cheered for the Lions because I did have the -3 in the over. So that was fun, but I'm no longer cheering for the Lions.
Yeah.
No, I let you guys get your one. It's fine. You had it.
I realized something today or on Sunday. I hate Chris Collinsworth when he's announcing Lions games because it feels like he doesn't stroke off the Lions the way he strokes off the opposing team's quarterback. And it's probably because Goff doesn't do these crazy throws, but Matthew Stafford, I swear to God, Chris Collinsworth was just deep-throating him the whole game. And it was driving me insane. Now, granted, Stafford made some ridiculous fucking throws. He loves that no-looker. It's annoying. Another thing, I still don't know how I feel about the Lions booing Stafford. What do you think?
I was going to ask you that. I get booing him because, like, he is the enemy. We've moved on. Like, Jared Goff is your quarterback. But also at the same time, like, he hasn't done anything to, like, fuck you guys over. Like, he didn't request the trade out, did he?
Exactly. No.
Like, he just got traded. Like,
yeah. That's why
I
I
don't
didn't.
know.
So it's a playoff atmosphere, and you know I didn't hate it because maybe they got into his head. Obviously, it didn't. He had a fucking phenomenal game. I am now spin zoning it into they weren't booing Stafford, they were booing his wife because Kelly Stafford has become the biggest bitch on the face of the earth towards Detroit since their departure. She was butthurt that we got rid of him. She couldn't see that it was what needed to be done. Obviously, it was the right decision. He went and got his fucking ring, and we're sitting here now in the playoffs. But
that
it's
reminded
just every
me.
time, huh?
Keep going. You just
Every
reminded me of something.
every time I see Kelly Stafford saying something, she's just shitting on Detroit. And it's like, if you don't want us to boo Stafford, stop shitting on us. Obviously, that's not why they booed Stafford. But she just, like, she came out and was like, oh, what a great city. Can't wear the jersey of somebody who did so much for this town, blah, 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 because the Stafford jersey ban. There was something else back in the day, and I think she just makes shit up, too. She said the fans were booing her 4 daughters. There's no fucking way people went out of their way to boo your daughters. No fucking shot. So
Speaking of daughters, I think we need to discuss one of the most unhinged tweets I've ever seen.
I will defend myself. I have a reasoning for the tweet. I have a reasoning for the tweet. Do you want it? Do you want me to read the tweet, or do you want to read it?
No, you can read it.
Okay. I'm actually not going to go find it because I don't have my phone on, but it was something along the lines of, I was watching the game. So, for those that don't know, Austin live tweeted the Packers game so we could all see his thoughts. I live tweeted the Lions game.
It was a blast, honestly.
It was a lot of fun. The only thing I didn't like is I feel like I wasn't as into the game as I needed to be. So that's why the second half I kind of toned it back a little bit so I could watch. But it was early in the game. I think within 5 minutes I was like, ooh, I don't know about that one. And as soon as I tweeted it. And when I told my parents about it, they were like, you really tweeted that? And I was like, ooh. Left it up, though, because I'm a man. Hand up. The tweet was, backstory, sorry. I'm sitting there. They were talking about Kelly Stafford and Stafford and his kids or something. And then I said, Stafford's 4 daughters are going to be calling someone else daddy tonight. So take that out of context. It's bad, right? Like they're 6 years old, I think. It's not good. But what I meant was they got to stay in Detroit. They can't fly out yet. And Kelly Stafford is going to want Jared Goff because of how great he played and how sexy he is. So he was going to go back with Kelly Stafford and then tuck the girls in and good night, Daddy. Like, oh, wait. That's all I meant, tucking them in.
That was a great recovery. I love it.
Yep, that's it, man. That's it. He was just tucking them in.
Another question. Do you think Stafford should have been ruled out?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Dude's eyes were in the back of his skull.
The slow-mo of his eyes just going right to the back of his head and him waking. I think he was out. I think he was
100%.
out for like 3 or 4 seconds. So I don't know how the fuck he got cleared. It must have been a doctor he knew from back in the day.
Yeah.
But there's no shot he
The
should
concussion policy, I think, needs to be fixed a little.
Yeah, that was crazy. So yeah, Lions are taking on the Bucks this week. We beat them 20-6 in Tampa earlier in the year.
Reminder:
so
Jake's looking past the Bucks.
I'm not. I'm just saying, do your fucking job. Literally, the other thing about this game, and then we'll move on because we're gonna go really long. But the Lions in the first half had the perfect blend of run and pass, and it was the run set up the play action pass. And then I don't know if it was defensive adjustments that I don't understand, but the second half was more pass heavy, and we only put up 3 points. So this week we won. I don't give a fuck. This game could have been, we were down by 50, came back and won, and it would still feel the same as we just won. It's a playoff win. It's a win. Next week, run the fucking ball. Just run the ball, man. But I'm pretty confident because the Bucs touchdowns last night were all on broken plays, and the Eagles' defense is trash. Our defense isn't very good, but it's playing a lot better than the Eagles' defense was coming into the playoffs. So pretty
quick
confident.
question.
Yep, go ahead.
Where would you rank this game on your list of all-time Lions games?
Number one. For me, like me personally,
Yeah.
yeah, number one.
What would you say is like your top three?
So number one is this. Number two, I'm gonna say number two. Ooh, can we come back to this? You want to get through these other two games while I think?
Well,
about
I have my three off the top of the dome.
for the Packers.
Yeah.
Well, that's obviously the two Super Bowls and then the Motor City Miracle.
2 Super Bowls. I was just thinking, I've only witnessed one.
Oh, Brett Favre was before you.
I mean, like I saw him a little bit, but I don't remember the Super Bowl with him. I was gonna say Super Bowl 1, this game number 2, and then I'd put Motor City Miracle 3.
I think you have to. I respect
Yeah.
it. So I'll go this game 1, and then I'll say Stafford dislocating his shoulder, but still driving down the field to beat the Browns. I think that was in 2016, the last year that we made the playoffs before this year. No, that wasn't 16 actually, because I was coming home from a bowling tournament. I was watching on my phone. But that game is number 2, and then number 3. I'm gonna say the year that we were 0-10-1. I think 2021, and we scored a walk-off touchdown for Dan Campbell's first win and to beat the Vikings. Remember that one?
Not off the top of my head, no.
I will find a clip of it and send it to you. But the pure joy of we're not going to go defeated again.
Wait, was this against
No,
Steelers?
I take it back. No, it was against the Steelers. We tied that year.
Oh yeah.
In overtime, and then but I'm taking that off my list. Green Bay last year, or week. What was that? Week 17 then, or was that week 18?
No, it was 18.
Week 17. They didn't have week 18 last year, I don't think.
Yes, they did.
Either way, you know what I'm talking about. That's number 3. And then, 2, the Stafford comeback against the Browns with the dislocated shoulder. Number 1, this one. Yeah, that's a good list. Let's kind of fly through these because we've gone way long and we still have to preview. So, Steelers, Bills, nothing crazy except for the fact that the Steelers hung around a lot longer than I thought they would. And Josh Allen's him, and I'm so happy I have a future on the Bills because I think they can do it this year.
Best thing I got out of this game is that the Bills let fans come and shovel, and then they just said it was a free-for-all for seats. So, fuck anybody who paid $1,000 for seats. You might be sitting in the upper bowl.
Yeah, they moved the game. They moved the game to Monday, obviously. And then they had shoveling crews all weekend, and then fans still had to clear snow themselves to get to seats.
Yep.
And so it's like I did see there was another blizzard while they were shoveling, so it was just like they couldn't do anything about it.
Steelers didn't belong.
Steelers never should have got in there. They wouldn't have beat a single team in the playoffs other than maybe the Eagles.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think they would have beat any team. Yeah, they shouldn't have been in the playoffs. Eagles Bucks, another blowout. Baker Mayfield though, happy for him. I'm sad for what we have to do to him next week. But good for him, man. Really showing the Browns, hey, you fucked up. Because imagine this Browns team now with Baker.
Well, the Browns, the Rams, the Panthers.
The Rams, you can't really say anything though because they had Stafford.
Yeah.
You know, so and Baker didn't want to stay as a backup. He knew he could go start somewhere. So
yeah.
Pretty fucking awesome for
the Panthers,
Baker.
though.
The Panthers, yep, they
could have kept Baker and traded back the 1-1.
Honestly, like if we went back like a year to when the Browns cut Baker, I believe that you and I both were like, man, Baker is just like he's an average quarterback who can be great. He just has been in shitty situations.
Mm-hmm.
I think we said like the Browns obviously did they win a playoff game or just make one?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Either way. But then he goes to the Panthers. He gets stuck with Matt Rule, first-year coach who gets fired in the middle of the year. Bad luck there. Then he goes to the Rams.
Did you see the graphic of all of his coaches he's had?
Yes.
It's like all-time worst coaches other than Stefanski.
Yes. And then the Rams, he He had that one great game. He had a couple mid games, and then the Bucks finally he found his spot. Man, I think they'll hold on to him next year again. Put some pieces around him. He's got weapons finally. Evans, Godwin, Rashad White's great. The defense
just
is
the
average.
age of those wide receivers, though, is what's worrisome.
That's the problem. But, yeah, they just blew them out. And the Eagles, we should have saw this coming. We did see it coming. We both picked the Bucks.
I have a hot take.
The Eagles, one second on that hot take. The Eagles just limped in. Their defense was bad. I'm not going to say it's a fluke that they got into the Super Bowl last year because I think they did beat. No. Didn't they have the bye and then they played the Bucks? No. They had the bye. Then they did beat the Cowboys last year, which is a fluke. And then they took on the fucking 49ers who had no quarterback. So,
oh, yeah, because
honestly,
all of them got fucking injured.
Yeah, so maybe it was a fluke that the Eagles got in last year. I think they'll fire Sirianni. Let's hear your hot take.
Hot take, I think A.J. Brown demands a trade, gets out, and I think the Eagles kind of fall apart this year.
Well, they just lost their center, and obviously the center is a bigger deal than people think.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone. Jalen Hurts, I still don't think is a bad quarterback. I just don't think he's got that dog in him. You know?
Oh, I have the playoff bracket up from last year. So they beat the Giants because the Giants beat the Vikings, and then they beat the Niners in the conference championship, and that's where Purdy lost his arm and they had no backups.
Yeah, Josh Johnson was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. That was a fluke. I can't believe we didn't see that. They did have the bye, though. But one thing I do want to bounce back to, so the Bucks won there. Before we do our preview, I do want to bounce back to, do the Cowboys fire McCarthy?
Absolutely. I'm surprised he's not gone already.
I agree with that. I thought he would have been gone Monday morning. It's now Tuesday night. Haven't heard a peep.
I love the fact that people are talking about who's going to get hired there, and they still haven't even fired McCarthy.
Exactly. Do they fire Dan Quinn, their defensive coordinator?
Yes.
You think so?
I think so.
That defense was so good this year. I think.
Yeah, but down the stretch, it fell apart so bad.
That's true. Their rush defense did fall apart quick, and then last week was just the eruption of shit. And then what about Dak? Do they hold on to Dak?
I think after throwing for 400 yards in a playoff game that they should. He is the perfect quarterback for them. No, realistically, I think they need to get rid of him and try to get something else. If they went out and got Kirk Cousins,
right,
that'd be a perfect fit there.
Yeah,
but
I think if they could trade Dak for some picks, they should. But if they're not going to get at least 2 firsts, which I don't know if they would, then they should just hold on to him because you can't go full rebuild when you've got the studs that you do. You've got Pollard, who's good. You've got CeeDee Lamb. You've got Micah Parsons. You've got a defense that was very good. You've got dudes. I feel like it's more of a coaching problem. So I think we'll see McCarthy and Quinn fired.
Last thing, I do kind of feel bad for Dak because of all the anxiety and depression and shit that he has, and I think that's part of the reason why he sucks in the playoffs.
Ooh, I haven't thought about that.
Because he's got major anxiety.
Dak's one of those guys that he's a great fucking guy, but as a quarterback, he's not going to get it done. He's not going to get it done. So he was in the MVP conversation this year, though, until down the stretch. And it was much better than last year. Last year, he threw all those interceptions. So I think they hold on to him. Let's do our preview. It'll be quick-ish. We kind of already talked about Texans-Ravens. Once again, rest versus rust. Can C.J. Stroud play in the cold? Do you want to type our picks on our sheet here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to just put them under where our records are there?
Yeah.
I am going to take – I think I'm going to go pretty chalk this week. You know what? No, I'm taking the Ravens. Yep. And who do you got?
I'm going to take the Ravens as well. I'm a little concerned that Mark Andrews coming back might not be necessarily a good thing. Unless he's fully 100% healthy, has been good to go for 2 weeks.
Well, dude, Isaiah Likely's been so good.
And it's just Andrews. I don't know.
Packers-Niners. We can spend a little bit more time here if you'd like. I am going to pick the Packers.
Wow.
Do I think they actually win? No. However, do I want them to win? Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm going with the Packers as well. It's kind of it's the same as the Texans Ravens, but it's also my own team, and I don't trust the Niners as much as I trust the Ravens, probably because of my money bias, and quarterback bias. But so I will say I'm a little bit worried about the injuries. Jair's banged up. Enigbari potentially tore his ACL, so he's probably done for the year. And then somebody else got injured that I was a little bit worried on defense. So that's 3 defensive injuries to watch out for. I think the offense is still going to be fine and humming. We have all the key players that we need. Almost all of our wide receivers are healthy.
My other reason for taking the Packers is I genuinely can see them winning this game. It's storybook. Lions, Packers in the fucking championship.
Well, and then the whole love thing of beating the Cowboys, then beating the Niners after the last 2 quarterbacks couldn't do either.
And the 49ers defense has lost a lot of guys throughout the year. I think they lost a pass rusher and a corner. They had 2 torn ACLs. It was like back-to-back weeks, or maybe it was a linebacker. So they're not 100%. But this is also my chance for my Brock Purdy takes to come true. He is not good, and he will look like shit on Sunday. You heard it here first.
I will say
can you stop McCaffrey?
Yeah. I would be lying if I said that, like, I wouldn't be mad if we lost. I'm pretty sure I did say that earlier. Like, texted our group chat saying that, like, I wouldn't be that mad because it's all house money at this point. Mm-hmm. But also losing to the Niners again is just like, fuck.
You're not going to be mad, though. You're just going to be extremely sad, as you would be for any playoff loss.
It's just like, I'm so sick of losing to the fucking Niners in the playoffs that, like, yes, I do have money on, like, the Niners-Ravens Super Bowl. I'm perfectly fine giving up my $250 potential profit for the Packers to beat the Niners here.
Yep. What was I going to say? Lions-Bucks now. Similar situation as you. I feel like we're on house money because my expectations all year have always been just win a playoff game and then just whatever after that, I'm happy. But if they do lose this game, I'm going to be extremely fucking sad. But I'm taking the Lions clearly. Goff's going to throw for 400 yards. Montgomery will have 80 yards. Gibbs will have 75. I think Amon-Ra scores too. I was going to take him as a long shot for a touchdown, but it's only plus 100. So, but he's due as well. He hasn't scored in a minute. Actually, he scored in the Vikings game. But, yeah, I got the Lions.
Yep. I'm going to take the Lions too.
Oh, bless me. If our defense just plays decent, I think our offense will do the job. The Eagles game last night, I think if they had A.J. Brown, that game's a lot closer than it was. A healthy A.J. Brown. So we're damn near fully healthy. Our offensive line, man, our defensive line's been getting pressure. Keep fucking blitzing. Baker can move, but not as much. So I'm only really scared about mobile quarterbacks. So I got the Lions there. I'm so fucking excited for that game. And I'm glad it's at 3. Quick story. I went over to my parents, right, and I had to work the next day because construction doesn't believe in Martin Luther King, I guess, or something. But I didn't get home till fucking midnight. Didn't fall asleep till like 1:30 because I was straight adrenaline. So Monday I was down bad. Final game, probably arguably the best game of the weekend. Chiefs and Bills in Buffalo. What do you got here?
Damn, I was really hoping you'd make your pick first.
I can go first if you want. I'm locked in.
Yeah.
All right, let me
you're going to take the Bills.
Yeah, I have a future on the Bills. I have to take the Bills. I genuinely do think they win this game. They are the hottest team in football behind the Packers. Since Sean McDermott talked about, or he compared something to 9/11, I don't remember what it was. They're 6-0, I think, since then.
Yep.
And the Chiefs have looked mid, man. It's sad to say, but they have Mahomes, so Mahomes in the playoffs can do anything. But it's at home. It's in Buffalo. Those fans are going to be absolutely obliterated. And I think Bills-Ravens is good for the league, so give me the Bills there.
Yeah, I tossed and turned on this one. I went back and forth, and I just keep thinking of the 13-second game. And, like, so deep in my mind, I want to take the Chiefs because it's the Chiefs and it's Patrick Mahomes and they just always find a way. But I don't think there's a scenario in my mind that I could run through where I see the Chiefs winning this game. So
the only thing for me is the only thing the Chiefs can do to win, I think, is for Mahomes to just have one of those career games.
And somebody just other than Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce and Pacheco, and then you need one other guy to step up. And I just have no clue who that would be. Because it's not going to be MVS.
The Bills' defense hasn't looked amazing, but Josh Allen has been pretty good. So
yeah,
I'm riding the hot hand with the Bills. And I got their future at plus 1,800, so we ride. I believe that's everything, right? Unless you got anything else. Oh, roulette, duh.
I was going to say. No, I don't have anything. Pack is back.
That's wild that both of our teams won. I thought for sure Dallas was winning that game. And then once Green Bay won, I was like, fuck, this means the Lions are probably going to lose. That's just how this shit
I honestly thought that too.
I was like, there's no way both of our teams fucking win.
When I asked you for picks and you said the Lions, if you would have said, I'm not betting a side, I'm just betting props, I probably would have taken the Rams plus 3. And then you said Lions -3. I'm so confident. I was like, all right, fuck it. We ride.
It looked good.
I didn't even talk about it. I had a massive fuck up yesterday.
Hang on. Oh, never mind. I don't have time. Go ahead. Quick.
So yesterday, Eagles Bucks game. Went to place a $12.50 same game parlay. Forgot to press the decimal place in between the 2 and the 5. Accidentally placed a $125 parlay for $300 and sent DraftKings a message asking to cash out because it was an accidental. They wouldn't let me cash out. It ended up losing because Rachaad White didn't get over 23.5 yards as my only leg that lost. So quite upset about that.
Good thing I didn't go there. So that spin I could have went, but I decided not to and it missed. So we're good there. Can you see by the way?
12 is our number, yeah.
12, 0, 2, 3, 9, 13, 22. Yeah, that sucks. When you sent that, I honestly felt sick for you.
Luckily, I hit a couple of other things, but my account would have been at like...
It ended up looking good.
If they would have refunded it... So, if they would have refunded it, my account would have been at like 180. But because they didn't, I'm at 40 or like 45. And...
Here we go. 4 and 27. No lightning number for the boys. Just hit our number. We'll run it back.
It's so clear. I love this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
42!
Oh!
All right, are we doing? Do you want to do $1 or do you want to do $2? I think it's gonna go back to back.
Okay. Either way, I just looked at that. That would have been a winner either way because 9 and 22 are next to each other.
Right next to each other. Yep. That was dope. Is that 3 weeks in a row now we've hit?
I think so.
All right. Well, we'll find out if we should have went down to $1.
Whose number?
22 is probably mine because Hassan Haskins.
Okay.
All right. No lightning number for us again. If this one hits, we're running it again. I'm just leaving it too because then we're fucking green. Come on now. One more time. Back to back.
Oh,
it's 12! We hit 12! Let's go! All right! Dude, that thing went 0, 3, and then 12. I was like, oh,
I'm not going to lie. I thought the lightning number was on 12 and not 10. And I was like, holy shit, we just hit 200x.
Hey, the system worked finally with the spin before. It's about time that shit worked.
12 is neither of our numbers, so.
Yeah, that's the first time we've hit the previous spin. You know how we're doing that? Yeah, there you go. Random. That's a good term for it. Here we go. Come on, let's go 3 in a row. 4, 29, 32. No numbers for us.
That's all right.
Hit it again. Just hit it again.
Come on,
baby. This is a long spin, I think.
Yeah, it is. That's never good.
Oh, right by the 13. I thought that thing was going to get loose. All right, that's good, though. We'll take that. Double winner. All righty, then. Reminder on Paige's Super Bowl picks. The Dolphins are out of it, so that was wrong.
She talked about that with me this week, and she said she took that like week 1, so it doesn't really even count anyways.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. National Anthem under, remember, and the Gatorade color red. I think that's it. Frank, you got anything else for him?
My Ravens Super Bowl future cash out is over $200 now.
Woo! Woo! Good luck.
$750 to go.
Support the boys. It's good for the podcast for a Packers-Lions championship game. So go Pack. Go Pack, go. And one pride, baby. Have a great weekend. Let's hit some tanks, door some tutties. We'll see you next week.
Peace. GPG.